So if you saw my last community post, I said I would have a bigger upload come out today, but sadly that video is going to take way longer than I thought, so today's video is going to be more lighthearted and something I've been thinking about for a while now. And that's an idea for a minigun stratagem. So to not keep y'all waiting, let's get right into my proposal. Starting off with the slots the weapon would hold, it takes up your third weapon slot as well as a backpack slot for a massive ammo drum. Stat-wise, I'd imagine the ammo pack comes with 1,000 shots, and I'd also imagine its base damage being around 90, with it having light pin as well as an extremely fast fire rate. It would have 3 different firing modes, one for 800 RPM, another for 1000, and one last one for 2000. Now, just looking at the raw stats, the stratagem weapon isn't exactly anything to write home about, but that's because there is a twist. Similar to the double-edged sickle, the longer you hold down the trigger, the higher the damage and the higher the armor pin. There would be 3 stages of heating up, with the first stage starting out being just the space stats, the second pumping up the damage to 100 with AP3, and the final stage of heating up allowing it to do 110 damage with AP4. Now to reach each stage, I'd imagine you wouldn't need to fire for long, probably around 3 or 4 seconds of firing to get into stage 2, and then 3 or 4 more to get into stage 3, but due to the fire rate, you would still burn through a lot of your ammo in that amount of time. Now to explain as to why a minigun would be able to do more damage the more it heats up, I came up with the idea that each of the minigun's barrels functions like a railgun, and the more the barrels spin and generate energy, the faster the rounds are fired, and thus the harder the rounds hit. Now, does this really make much sense? Well, to be honest with you, no. But most things in Helldivers don't really make sense. So if it makes the weapon more interesting, then I see no problem in going for it. This is especially important for something like a minigun, as without a solid gimmick, it gets lost in the sea of already established chaff-clear machine guns, such as the Stalwart, the regular MG, and the heavy MG. As for how I'd imagine this weapon would do on each faction, I'd imagine it would do extremely well on squids and bugs just due to the fact that most of those aren't really that armored, and it has plenty of lighter tiered armor enemies that it can chew through while it builds up to AP4. However, on bots, I imagine it'd be usable but still fairly niche just due to the fact it starts out with light pin. Although if you did get to heavy pin, you would basically shred through pretty much any enemy on that faction. When it comes to revving the minigun, I'm sorry, but there will be no rev time. Just like in real life, the moment the trigger is pressed, you're firing at your selected fire rate. This just makes the weapon more responsive and honestly just avoids the annoyance that most miniguns have in games of needing to wait for it to fully rev up. And with the gimmick of needing to build up to your max firepower, it would just make that task tedious. I know this video was short, but I had to get something out so that my channel doesn't completely die while I'm working on this larger project. And who knows, I might end up doing a larger scale idea video in the future if you guys just enjoy this. But that's gonna be all from me this week. I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.